Good morning, everyone. I will now call the June 24, 2026 San Diego County Board of Supervisors regular meeting, flood control district meetings, in-home supportive services public authority meeting, San Diego County Fire Protection District meeting, and sanitation meeting to order. We would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we call home. There are communities in the San Diego region that face unjust conditions and circumstances related to the environments in which they live. The tribal nations of the San Diego region are an example of one community that has historically faced such injustices. We acknowledge the harm that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most unique county in the United States, from 4 cultural groups: the Kumeyaay, the Inyo, the Liceno, the Campano, and the Kuya. We aspire to learn from indigenous traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing the injustices of the past. Ryan, please call the roll for today's session.
Thank you, Vice Chair Montgomery Scott. Before I call the roll, I would like to note for the record that Supervisor Lawson Reamer is participating via teleconference under Section 54953C of the Brown Act. As such, all those will be handled by a roll call vote. At this time, Supervisor Lawson Reamer will disclose whether anyone over the age of 18 is in the room with her, as well as their relationship to the supervisor. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Supervisor Lawson Reamer.
Hi, this is Terry Lawson Reamer. I am there's only one adult with me, and that is my chief of staff, Megan Alexaroda, and my baby. It's not an adult. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I will now call the roll. Supervisor Anderson. Supervisor Desmond. Here. Chair Pro Tem McCurry.
Here.
Vice Chair Montgomery Scott.
Here.
And Chair Lawson Reamer.
Here.
Okay. We will now have Rabbi Michael Rothbaum deliver the invocation, and Gordon the pledge, Marissa Morales, Sarah Fletchman, and Elizabeth Ruiz will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation and pledge.
Morning, I bring greetings from Congregation Door of Joshua, which serves the entirety of San Diego County, and it is my blessing to offer this prayer this morning. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, v'Dorotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, we come before you in gratitude for the esteemed members of this Board of Supervisors, gratitude for the beauty of our county, the love in our communities, the generosity of spirit coursing through San Diego County. You have brought forth to this county people of 1,000 lands and all genders, of countless religions and no religion, native speakers and language learners, a dazzling spectrum of sizes and skin colors, the narrowest noses and the kinkiest curls, a human family so beautiful, capable of remarkable feats, builders and knitters and teachers and seers. For all this in this space, on this morning, we are grateful. But in addition to gratitude, we also come before you in profound anguish for lives taken, souls forsaken, wages stolen, anguish over foreclosures and evictions and deportations, jobs that don't pay, sick days rescinded, in a county that is really 2 counties, one for the rich and another for the poor, one stained with racism and another protecting privilege, one for the well-connected and another for the disenfranchised and disrespected. You gave the Jewish people a book teaching that we were born in a land of bigotry, led by a Pharaoh who enslaved and hunted the Israelites for no crime save our identity. Teaching that a land as great as Pharaoh's Egypt or the county of San Diego cannot stand if it is built on a foundation of oppression and injustice. We are guided by the Torah's message that slaves get free and that the flame of liberation shines brighter than money or guns or things. The message that when modern pharaohs snatch away sustenance, torment immigrants, incarcerate rather than educate, and steal our trust, those of us who would dare call ourselves religious must act. That to do otherwise is a betrayal of our neighbors, a betrayal of the legacy of liberation, and a betrayal of your spirit and your promise. The promise that justice triumphs over greed. A promise of holy dignity for everyone in our county, from Bing Crosby Boulevard to Barrio Logan, from Coronado to El Cajon, from the tourist traps in Old Town to our neighbors trapped in Otay Mesa. Give us the courage to stand strong for this promise, even when doing so is not safe or easy or popular. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, our God, the God of our fathers and mothers, God of employers and employees, God of lawmakers and landscapers, God of homeowners and home health workers, God of spirit and song and righteous judgment. Please hear our words. Help us heal our land, that we may march forward every day, every moment, into a county of safe homes, settled hearts, secure families, and holy laws of love and justice together. Stand.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the proclamation. The first proclamation will be given by Chairperson Paloma Aguirre, honoring National Immigrant Heritage Month. Accepting the proclamation will be Joseph Ruato Ramirez, Luria Ismael Sadeh, Claudia Ignacio. Operators, please come forward.
Good morning. Buenos dias. It is my honor to present this proclamation recognizing National Immigrant Heritage Month. As our nation approaches its 250th anniversary, it is important to reflect on the central role immigrants and immigrant heritage have played in shaping our United States, California, and especially District 1. The strength of District 1 lies in its incredible multiculturalism, where families from all over the world, from across the Americas, the Pacific, and beyond, have chosen to put down roots, build businesses, and enrich our shared culture. Immigrants bring their unique cultures, languages, traditions, and perspectives that enrich every aspect of our community. I am honored to stand alongside members of our immigrant and refugee communities who are our neighbors, business owners, educators, healthcare workers, public servants, farm workers, custodians, artists, and community leaders. This week is especially special because it's also Immigrant Small Business Week. As the proud daughter of immigrants who waited tables for a living, this is deeply personal to me. Like many children of immigrants, I often served as a translator for my family, helping navigate forms, appointments, and conversations. I've seen firsthand the incredible hard work our immigrant communities put in every single day. A dedication I witnessed in my own parents while they worked to put their families forward. Through my family and through working with District 1 immigrant and refugee communities, I see the hardships, the joy, and the relentless perseverance required to build a better life here. This month also coincides with Refugee Awareness Month, reminding us that people come to America through many different journeys. Some seek opportunity, while others are forced to flee war, violence, persecution, and climate-related crises. Regardless of how they arrived, immigrants and refugees share a common hope: safety, opportunity, and a brighter future for themselves and their families. Their contributions have helped build our economy, strengthen our institutions, and enrich our civic and cultural life. But let me be very clear: their worth is not defined solely by their contributions. Immigrants and refugees are valued members of our community whose lives, experiences, and aspirations deserve recognition, respect, and dignity. Today, we can't ignore the current reality that many immigrant communities are experiencing: fear and uncertainty under this Trump administration. Immigration enforcement actions and detention policies have deeply affected families throughout our region. This is fundamentally about human rights. It is about recognizing the dignity and worth of every person. And these are values that reflect the best of who we are as a community and as a nation for generations to come. To our immigrant and refugee community standing with us today, we honor your journeys, your sacrifices, your accomplishments, and your dreams. You belong to this community, and your lives, voices, and experiences matter. Thank you for helping shape San Diego County and making it stronger, more vibrant, and more compassionate for generations to come. I now have the privilege of reading the last paragraph of the proclamation. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Chair Tara Lawson-Remer, myself, and the rest of the members of the Board of Supervisors on this 24th day of June 2026 that we commend immigrants for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the citizens of San Diego County, and we do hereby declare this day to be National Immigrant Heritage Month throughout San Diego County.
Good morning, my name is Joseph Allen Ramirez. I am a professor at Southwestern College in Asian American and Pacifica Studies. I'm also part of the Commission for Human Relations here in San Diego for the county, and I work with the API, or the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander community. This month is very special to me because this is the month, 35 years ago, I came to the United States as a natural disaster refugee. My mom's right there taking pictures, and so her birthday was last week, and during that week, 35 years ago, a volcano erupted in the Philippines, and we ran across various fields to make sure that we were safe because fires were coming down from the sky. Ashes covered the whole villages, and then at the very end of the month, we ran into an airplane. My one-year-old sister and I were strapped into cargo nets when my mom semi-stood up from Philippines to Guam, then ended up being on top of boxes, Guam to Hawaii, processed in Washington, before coming to Long Beach, and then later on here in San Diego. She didn't want to be recognized, but I wouldn't be here if she didn't have the courage to run across and make sure that those fireballs were not hit myself and my one-year-old sister. And so she came here, nothing, we had a backpack, and now I tell her, she wanted me to become a doctor, but I told her I can't be that kind of doctor because I don't like blood. So I decided to take the PhD route. But for anyone who's here as a refugee, those who came from war, natural disaster environment, we have a different relationship to immigration. We were displaced. We were not, wanting to come here. This wasn't our first choice. We were here and we made it our home, and San Diego has welcomed us by allowing us to have our businesses, our families, our home away from home. But knowing our roots to our food, our culture, we are still able to practice who we are. As immigrants, as refugees, as political asylum individuals, we are here to make sure that San Diego remembers that we are the ones who made this place happen. And that whether you came here through generations prior, where we are now, recent immigrants, recent refugees, to those who are indigenous here, this land that we call San Diego County, the various cities here, are all about our histories. And so I want to thank my mom, whose birthday again was last week, who wasn't able to celebrate it 35 years ago. I graduated over there. And just the last thing, I am a professor, so this is my first time coming here, but if I am invited for future proclamation events, I usually give books and homeworks to the council members. So Monica knows that. So I didn't bring any books today, but I would usually come and test them. And so you need to know the history of our communities here. And the last thing I want to say is Balboa Park, and its very violent history at least, was created by the Panama Exposition. And for many folks, indigenous peoples from all over Asia, South America, and Africa, they were supposed to be part of a human zoo that was supposed to be exhibited there. And it wasn't a couple months prior when laws prohibited human zoos in the United States passed that the US and San Diego officially say they were the first World's Fair that didn't have any human exhibitions. So a lot of immigrants here were not also immigrants or refugees. The Igorot community, the Moro community, the Ainu, and the Okinawans came here as human exhibits first before anything else. And so what does that mean when we complicate that they were never forced, they were never taken, and never came here, but they were not seen as human, and they were equal to animals. So those histories need to be preserved and addressed as part of our local histories. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here today. For many years, I actually wrote something because I probably will cry a little bit. For many years, fear kept me from telling this story. When I was 14 years old, my mother just rushed us in the middle of the night and said, "Let's go." She took us from Mexico to the United States in pursuit of the American dream. She was an indigenous woman from Oaxaca, but we lived in Mexico City then. She never had a chance to go to school, but she knew it was very important. And she wanted to make sure that her kids had an education. She also knew that was impossible where we were living. She was a single mother of 5 of us. Well, actually, in Mexico, there was 4 of us only. But she had extraordinary courage and an unwavering belief that her children deserve a better future. She left behind everything she knew to give us that opportunity. I arrived in the United States with no culture, no language, everything was very unfamiliar and overwhelming. My mother taught me that through hard work and education, anything was possible. Then at 17, she passed away. She was my everything. In the middle of my grief, I had 4 younger siblings waiting and depending on me at home. And I promised to fulfill the American dream that she had sacrificed her life for. As the oldest, I helped raise my siblings and my niece because my sister became a mother at 16. My mother had me at 15, and cultural patterns matter, right? However, along the many, many obstacles, I continue to carry my mother's dream for me and for my siblings. I worked hard. I paid my way through college. I know I wanted to go to become a lawyer, but I couldn't afford going to law school, and I had young children waiting for me that depended on me. I work until my siblings were old enough so that I could focus on my path to law school. Plus, I also had to wait because I was undocumented and there were no opportunities such as DACA back then. In my late 30s, I decided to go to law school. I graduated and I stand here today as a tax attorney, as a founder of CI Tax Law. My story is a testament to an immigrant mother's love and vision. Every accomplishment I have is rooted in the courage of a woman who couldn't speak, who couldn't read and write, yet she understood the power of hope. That's what this month is about. Parents who leave their children, who leave everything behind so that their children have a chance. I really want to just highlight your story because I can relate to the sacrifices his mother made for him and for his sister. My mother is not here today to see what I have built, but I know she's in heaven watching over us and still guiding us. And I try to live every day to honor her. And I hope this story teaches you that it doesn't matter where we begin, as long as you're determined to know where you're going. And it's never too late to change your life and change your future. Because behind every immigrant's successful story, there's a family, there's a sacrifice, and a dream worth fighting for. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, the chairs, council members, and community. My name is Nuria, and I am very honored to be here. I work as a director of operations with San Diego Refugee Communities Coalition, and my family and I were evacuated to the United States in 2021 by the US government. And the reason for our evacuation was that my sister was a neurosurgeon, the only female who was working in government hospital, and my other sister was a university professor, and I was working with the USA projects, and that was the decision that they were making and say that the country is not safe anymore, especially after the Taliban took the control. So anyway, that was like how we were evacuated, and everything happened less than 10 days. So our life, as you said, was changed less than 10 days. But anyway, I'm happy that you are here. But something that I want to share, during our evacuation to US, we were living in the military camp with the USA, like Army, Air Force, and military. And when I was reading the news during the time, I was feeling that there were some people who didn't like the evacuation and didn't like so many refugees were coming to the US. And I was talking to my military friends and said, I think we should stay in Germany and not to go to the United States because of what is happening. And they said, no, why are you saying that? The US is a diverse country. There are so many opportunities and so many communities are living in US, so you will be happy ending in US. But something that you need to remember is that in US, you either sing or swim. So be aware of that when you are there. Anyway, when we landed in the US, I could see so many community members, ECBOs, organizations who were supporting all the newcomers. And I was thinking that, so many trainers and mentors who keep you swim and not to sink. But now, as I work with so many communities in San Diego, and we support Middle Eastern, Ukrainian, African, Asian community, and with the current situation, when I see them, and so many asylum seekers who are in detention center, I'm just thinking that, are they going to survive? Are they sinking or swimming? And this is really difficult to say with the current situation, with the budget cuts and so many benefits. But the hope that we have, and we look at the glass half full and be positive, is that we have you, and we have the community members, we have the foundations, and we have so many volunteers who still donate and keep the organization and ECBOs to run and advocate for the rights of the refugee and immigrants with the programs such as housing, immigration, education, employment, and keep them to stand on their feet and make another life, start from scratch, and be happy and lucky and successful in the United States. I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for the government resources, for the community and volunteers and our SBRCC members that we have, you can raise your hands. So thank you so much.
If you can't see me, I can't see you, so try to find a little hole to look through. Okay.
Yes, please.
That looks good. And then I'll do one backward.
Beautiful, thank you so much. As you exit, we have one more proclamation. Final proclamation will be given by Supervisor Justin honoring the California State University San Marcos women's softball team. Accepting the proclamation will be Mirage Shaw.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today we celebrate and honor a very special team that had an incredible season, and they made Cougar history. In 2026, Cal State University San Marcos softball team, they dominated the competition, finishing in conference play at 28 wins, only 4 losses. They captured the California Collegiate. Yes, bring your hand, yes. They captured the California Collegiate Athletic Association (CCAA) championship, and winning the National Collegiate Athletic Association (NCAA) Division II West Region, and advancing all the way to National Championship World Series semifinals as one of the best teams in the country. And they didn't stop there. They had a program record of 57 wins. And the Cal State San Marcos Cougars shattered expectations, set new standards of excellence, and earned the first #1 national ranking in school history. Their success was it was fueled by an extraordinary group of student athletes here today. Thank you very much for making the trip down here. 10 Cougars earned all CCAA honors, 4 captured the conference's top individual awards, and Jillian Elati made history as the first Cougar. Who's Jillian? She's not here. She's not accepting her other award. Okay. Well, she was the first Cougar to earn All-American first team honors from both the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association and the Division II Conference Commissioners Association, the D2CCA. A lot of acronyms here. But what really makes this team special goes beyond just the accomplishments, the championships, and the accolades. They represented Cal State University San Marcos on a national scale. Their teammates, their coaches, and their community they represented with pride, resilience, and class. And to the players, coaches, and families and all fans, thank you very much for an unforgettable season. Congratulations to you for making Cougar history. And therefore, now you have a proclamation. Wouldn't be here. Don't you want to hold the crown? Here. You want to hold it? Okay, all right. You're going to be speaking, so you're not going to hold it on. Okay. So whereas the County of San Diego, we are committed to recognizing and honoring those organizations that are dedicated to the best ideals of public service, and the Cal State University San Marcos softball team is one such worthy organization. So therefore, be it proclaimed by myself and all the members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors on this 24th day of June, 2026, that we commend Cal State University San Marcos softball team for their outstanding service, leadership, and commitment to the residents and the students of Cal State University San Marcos, and to hereby declare this day to be Cal State University San Marcos Softball Team Day, Championship Day throughout San Diego County. Go Cougars! All right.
Thank you, Supervisor Desmond, and thank you to all the county supervisors for this great honor, honoring our amazing student athletes here at Cal State San Marcos. Some of our student athletes are here. I want to make a quick introduction, and then I'll get Coach get on because he's really the all-star here. But we have Zara Fleischman from our women's softball team, Elizabeth Ruiz, Marissa Morales, and Lauren Netlich. Obviously, we have our sports information director, which is the MVP behind the scenes. So, sports information director Mindy Mills, our athletic trainer Danny Millar, and our assistant coach Melissa Razzo. And without further ado, I want to introduce our amazing head coach, AJ Robinson, to say a few words about the championship experience. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Little present for you.
Hat and sign ball. That's all the players. Thank you so much.
Yes, the whole team, NCAA regulation holder for you. First of all, thank you so much for this proclamation. It's amazing. This season was just a really special season, and this just kind of caps it off. But really appreciate the county and supervisor recognizing us. I wanted to talk a little bit about our season. Obviously lots of records and accolades, but I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is, in addition to winning, we did a lot of things that nobody really publicized. We did a lot of community service work with the San Marcos Girls Rec League, the little softball players, the future Cougars, and that was great. We went to the Boys and Girls Club and just had an exceptional time at their day camp. When we were in Chattanooga, we went to a senior living home, and that was spectacular. It was so fun. We played balloon volleyball and maybe got a little too competitive with some of the seniors, but just the things that we did in the community, I think, are outstanding. Our players, in addition to being great softball players, they're unbelievable human beings, and that's I think what we go for all along. Softball is just a tool that helps us with life and growing up, and super proud of our team and what we accomplished. When we were in Chattanooga, it was really cool to just see all the support from the community. we played a lot of exciting games. We went extra innings, 3 straight games. It was a little rough on my heart. They figured out a way to get the job done. But after the games, just all the text messages from people in the community just showing support and having watch parties. It was truly special. And sometimes you don't realize how big of a part of the community that you are. And so that was really special to see that. And all the support from the local news organizations. I thought it was great. We were able to kind of scrapbook our season, and they'll be able to hold on to that forever. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys today about our team that I think really makes us special is a word, mudita, which I'm sure most of you have never heard of. But I'm going to tell you what mudita stands for. It's finding joy in other people's success. And I think that is the heart of our team, the foundation of who we are and why we're successful. We have 25 players on the team, and only 10 are playing at one time, but all 25 are pulling in the same direction, rooting for each other, and it really made our season special. So remember that word, mudita, and finding joy in other people's success. I would really like to thank all of our staff, Murad, Todd, who is our sports supervisor, going to be with us today, Mindy, Daniel, Sam, like the support from our staff, I truly believe helped push us to where we were going, and I want to make sure you guys feel appreciated. It was incredible. When we were sitting back there, I was like, how do I top what just happened in front of me? That was so special with that previous group. But what we did was really special, and these players are going to be amazing citizens, and super proud of you guys. And thank you very much for the recognition, and we hope to see you out at Cal State San Marcos next spring. We played a lot of home softball games, so come see us. But thank you again. Appreciate you.
How about on the count of 3? Cougars. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cougars! All right. Okay. Thanks,
Before I go over those house rules, I just want to do 2 things. Really quickly acknowledge our Youth Summer Academy that our office hosts every year during the summer. We have rising seniors that are watching us. You can see them, but they're watching us upstairs. Rising seniors that basically follow us around for a couple of weeks. They have presentations like county staff. They visit with our juvenile detention facilities. They are really learning a lot and certainly an inspiration to me. So thank you all for taking the time to do this. And I just wanted to acknowledge you. The other thing really quick before we go into the public comment, I will go over the order in more detail once we get to that point after the public comment. But I just want to make sure that everyone knows that item number 5 does have a time starting at 12:30. So if I take lunch before that, we will be item number 5 at 12:30. Everything else will be in order. So the meeting will move along, but that does have a time certain. Okay, So, that's the inclusionary I want to take a moment to address some house rules. Public engagement is the cornerstone of transparent and accountable government, and these board of supervisors meetings are one of the primary venues where all city agents can make their voices heard. The county is committed to a work environment free from unlawful discrimination and harassment, including sexual, racial, religious, age, disability, or any other form of discrimination or harassment. Under the board's rules, speakers are not allowed to use loud, shouting, threatening, impertinent, slanderous, profane, or abusive language to any member of the board, staff, or the general public. Additionally, all remarks and questions must remain on topic during the duration of the speaking time and must be addressed to the board and not to county staff. Any speaker who engages in comments that break these rules will be issued a warning. After one warning, you will be asked to leave the chambers for the rest of the meeting. Finally, speakers threatening violence may be reported to law enforcement and removed from the meeting. This is a space for community engagement, deliberation, and progress, not for harassment, violence, and hate. So at this time, we will proceed with non-agenda public communication. This is an opportunity for the public to address the board on subject matters within the board's jurisdiction, but not an item on the meeting agenda. The only action that the board may take is a referral to the chief administrative officer. Under the board's rules, speakers can only speak once per meeting for non-agenda public communication, either today at our landing session or tomorrow's legislative session, but not both sessions. Speakers may select which session to address the board at their own convenience. To better facilitate the meeting, for non-agenda public comment, we will have 5 speakers in person and 5 speakers by phone. To ensure fairness, the first 5 in-person speakers for non-agenda public comment will be randomly selected. The rest of non-agenda public communication will be heard at the close of today's session. Additionally, in accordance with board rules, in order to ensure timely completion of today's agenda, for any discussion item with 10 or more speakers, individuals will have 1 minute to share their opinion at the chair's discretion. A reminder that according to Rule 4A, members of the public that are non-English speaking and need interpretation assistance will get twice the allotted time for their comments. And a final reminder, according to the board's rules and procedures, audience members shall not whistle, clap, stomp feet, or do anything that disrupts the proceedings. If you disrupt the meeting, you will be given 1 warning. After that 1 warning, if you disrupt the meeting again, you will be directed to leave the chamber for the remainder of the meeting. With all of that, please call the speakers.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Montgomery. So we do have 22 total requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda, 6 individuals in person, and 16 are requesting to speak by phone. For those that have requested to speak by phone, if you can please dial into the conference line now using the instructions that were provided to you. We will go ahead and begin with the in-person speakers, and as already noted, we will randomly select the first 5 speakers in person, then the remaining speaker will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. As your name is called, if you could please come forward and stand on the arrows and tell us you're going to speak at the podium. You'll then have 2 minutes to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the audio record, and I would like to invite forward the first 3 randomly selected individuals, which would be Ricky Robinson, Cesar Javier, and Parita Javier. You can come forward in any order.
Okay, Ricky Robinson here, speaking for my family, Robinson Lopez, Malika and Zaire Robinson, that you kidnapped, and you think you're going to try to adopt out. Anyway, I have a speech here, but it's from machine to the machine.
Malaika and Zyla are trapped in a barbaric foster system against their will when they have family right care. Their mother is here. I am here. Their siblings are here. Siblings they have never even been allowed to meet. And let me say this clearly through the camera's eye. Malaika and Zyla are not adoptable. They are not children without family. They are not clean adoption cases. Anyone who adopts Malaika and Zyla is adopting a crime scene. This is not adoption. This is abduction under color of law. And their family will never stop looking for them, speaking their names, and exposing what was done. You have caused catastrophic harm to Malaika, Zyla, and my entire family. This case is built on lies, retaliation, case fixing, and revenge. I will not stop until there is a criminal investigation. Bring Malaika and Zyla home.
Anyway, June 24th last year, Evelyn Lopez spoke up and complained about a predator, David Miller, was locking the doors. But I guess, that's just hearsay. The thing about it is, I have proof, and it's getting out to the investigative reporters. I have recordings with these social workers
Your time is
behind
up, sir.
closed doors.
Your time is up. Thank you. We'll hear from our
I
next
know,
speaker.
I know you don't care, but free Malaika and Zaya, you don't get to adopt them out. You people are, did I say you predators are deranged. You're deranged, Monica, especially Paloma. Paloma is definitely a sexual predator.
I just read the rules, about the type of language. So I won't give a warning this time, the next time I'll go, Mr. and Mrs. Javier.
Years since the proclamation was very touching, and we could see our place in that spectrum: hurt, suffering, fearful of our future. Mama Giri, this is all about the evolution that is victimizing us. My wife now, because of the stress and pain, is suffering a heightened Alzheimer's dementia. Yesterday, the doctor asked to do something for a special caregiver. Mom Monica, thank you for your appearance in the San Diego College District Board of Trustee meeting. We were hopeful that you shall bring the same crusade. That was our fourth attendance there, because there's something is wrong even in our school. The owner is a graduate of vocational ceramics right in Mesa College. The teachers, the professors, the founders has something to do with this. Why was the home business, the hazardous one, located, constructed, and operated in the residential zone district? For 5 years, we asked this question to the city air pollution controllers, to the county where the air pollution came from Lewis Department and became independent. Where is accountability? You are talking about equity in the Board of Trustee meeting. I hope we are included in that crusade. There seems to be a big wrong in here. We need something. Solution now.
Next speaker. And then speakers coming up, followed by the two last speakers for the morning session, allegedly Audra and Michael Brando.
Good morning. I am with existing medical condition and victim of ceramic stone toxicity, located, constructed, and operated in a residential zone. Dedicated near the Eurohole since 1984, for 5 years, since 2021, our voice seeking representation to local authorities and elected officials to abate and for to move your home business facility to safer place. Our efforts have been ignored, neglected. We handle over 77 residents' collective petition to Chair Nora Vargas in 2024, and also consistently participated in the ABCD governing board meetings, but just the same, ignored and neglected.
Thank you. We'll hear from final speakers.
Michael, when I come here, it's like coming to an episode of The Simpsons. The Simpsons, you remember The Simpsons, the cartoon show? Everything's just so over the top, exaggerated. I want to reference something that the rabbi said. The flame of liberation shines brighter than money. We named some other things too. I want to add to that. The flame of liberation shines brighter than lies, because we consistently hear lies here over and over again. I don't know if you remember this little image. Some of you will look, some of you won't. But this is when we were told that people that did not get the COVID so-called gene therapy injections were going to get very, very sick and likely die. This is the kind of misinformation that this board promoted. Jennifer Campbell, where you used to be, Monica, threatened people in a very combative way, just like you are, very combative, and said that people should be arrested who did not wear face bands, who did not stand 6 feet apart, and who did not get this. This is evil. And the good news is that all of this is self-imploding. This little baby picture with Tara is not fooling anyone about the kind of character she is. I want to mention this will go over some of your heads, a book by Federico Fellini. He's an Italian Jim Desmond. He actually created the first microprocessor. And he talks about how AI is not going to supplant humanity, because all of you operate from a materialistic, reductionistic view of life, and that's a lie. And he actually goes into that because he understands computers, he understands spirituality. I actually recommend this. It's called Irreducible: Consciousness, Life, Computers, and Human Nature. How good can it get?
So it's interesting to see your behavioral health business in play. Never thought that I would witness it firsthand. And so these billions of dollars are really going, to willful use. Andrea Ebbing, right, she's come in here before, she'd go to the city, talking about the district attorney, her children being kidnapped, her being nearly murdered and things like that. Well, she's been in Las Colinas since last month, and they did a competency evaluation. How cool is that? And so, you have some psychologists, come in and make it seem like you're going to be deemed competent, and then the county sends in their, little social worker, whoever, comes in and does an evaluation and starts asking questions that are kind of in the political realm. So interesting. And so then it's like, well, you have beliefs that are opposite, and the county, right, to Paloma, then you're really excluded. And so you can be deemed incompetent. And, if that happens, like you want to do, then you get to go into a mental facility for a couple of years and be drugged up. That'll be fun, right? You guys will make some money off of that. And then it really stalls the proceedings, right, Monica? PC 1368. Those two, the judge can determine either way, especially when they're working with Summer Stephan and you want to silence all this stuff. What a good way to do it. So, you guys are working well with, changing behaviors and making sure that people conform to your ideologies, and if they don't, they're surely going to be punished. So I think this is kind of a PSA for other people, just in case they want to course correct ahead of time.
Now we will hear from those that requested to speak by phone, and again, in accordance with the board rules, we'll be hearing from the first 5 callers. The remaining callers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted. You will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments, and we will go ahead and begin with our first caller.
I hope you posted up the thing that I asked you several times to do, but it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and discuss our election. You do not weed out non-citizens from the voter roll. You haven't done that since 2015, because if you want to go ahead and base everything off the driver's license, you change the law on the driver's license. You allow non-citizens to basically get that, which you needed to put in federal limits upon. Which means we can't even use our driver's license to vet whether or not we could actually vote at the site. So what are you going to do about that? Serious question. You don't vet the rules. You need to, according to NVRA Section 8. You refuse to even look at the rules because you believe that the driver's license will go ahead and prevent non-citizens from voting. On top of that, everything that Andrea having said regarding APAC is probably right. And most likely the reason why they get all that money and all those sheriffs, it's amazing how many sheriffs donated $6.95 onto Summer Stephan. I'm pretty sure that like every single one of them donated this money. That was voluntary, right? Or that was just backroom stuff to move money. I'm curious on why you guys are so damn corrupt. Why are you kind of throwing me in jail just for asking you to basically follow the NVRA subsection 8, reasonable effort? Doing nothing is not a reasonable effort. You can go ahead and certify the election. After that, we can go ahead and find out if you shouldn't certify the election. Then we'll all understand why all our benefits are going to illegals. Because they're probably outvoting the citizens. And that's why all our shit is going to them. I don't think that's right. I think when you go ahead and discover the illegal voting, you need to find out.
Thank you. Your time's up. Go ahead and go to our next caller.
Hi, good morning, supervisors. My name is Madison, and I'm speaking to ask you to reject any expansion of marijuana businesses in our county. As policymakers consider land use decisions, it is important to remember that marijuana commercialization is not just a business issue. It is a public health issue. Research continues to show that greater commercialization and increased availability, normalized use, increased youth exposure, and contribute to higher rates of marijuana use among adolescents. Today's marijuana products are engineered to contain a dangerously high level of THC, and these high-potency THC products have been linked to increased risks of psychosis, mental health problems, cannabis use disorder, and cognitive impacts on developing brains. Young people are more vulnerable because their brains continue developing into their mid-20s. Expanding cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, or retail operations sends a message that marijuana is an ordinary consumer product. But unlike ordinary consumer products, marijuana is associated with significant health risks, especially for youth. More businesses would need more promotion, more visibility, more normalization, and ultimately more exposure for children and teens. The county has an opportunity to prioritize public health over industry growth. We should focus on prevention, education, and protecting young people, rather than creating additional pathways for commercialization. Once marijuana businesses are established, it becomes really difficult to reverse their impacts on communities. As a parent, I want my children to grow up in a county that puts their health and future first. I respectfully ask you to oppose expanding marijuana businesses and continue protecting the
Thank you, supervisors, for this opportunity to speak. I'm here for the health of all that you've governed and of you, as well as my health and my loved ones. How many of you yourself, supervisors, or have someone in your life, or both, have suffered from or are suffering from cancer, infertility, Parkinson's disease, learning disabilities, senility, high blood pressure, or learning disabilities? I didn't mention before. Did you know that food grown with poison, legal in this country, and illegal in many countries, often the countries they're made in, can cause these serious illnesses? That's what the science says. And that's why they're banned there. You and your loved ones work in this and live in this county. Your shower and tap water are full of these poisons. That's what science says. The urine of you and your loved ones shows evidence that your body has taken these poisons in. I ask that you county supervisors stipulate that any county land be managed without poison, without agricultural poison. This is possible. It is done by organic, regenerative farming, gardening, landscaping, land, and property management. Humans working in harmony with nature are healthier than those within.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next caller.
Good morning. This is Laurie Palladino calling in again to express concern about the animals living on Artesian Road. These horses continue to need protection from endurance. Are any steps being taken to remove these horses, and what would they do? Concerns about the condition and level of care of horses on this property have been raised for years. These horses have faced terrible neglect and continue to languish. Some progress has been made, but these animals continue to live in concerning conditions. Why do these conditions continue to exist? 2 horses were previously removed from Deborah Barkley's property and were later returned. What factors were considered in that decision? No one who is not taking care of their animals should feel above any laws. Why would anyone who has allegedly neglected animals have these same animals returned? Are the horses on the Artesian property going to be removed, and when? How is compliance being monitored? These animals are dependent on us. Concerns have been raised by the public for years. What is the county's plan to bring this matter to a resolution? What is being done to ensure the animals are adequately cared for and are protected? There are laws in place regarding care of animals. Those of us who have expressed our concerns in the past are asking why these laws remain unenforced and unprosecuted on the Artesian Road property. No one is above the law, and this is a critical time for the animals who are suffering. Please.
You still there, Lord? Your phone's cut out.
Yeah.
There you go. Can't hear you again.
Was any of the were any of my comments heard?
Yeah, you have about 12 seconds left. We heard the majority of your comments, but your phone seems to be cutting in and out, but we can hear you now.
Okay. No one is above the law, and this is a critical time for these animals who are suffering. Please take the steps to help them. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next speaker.
Hi, my name is Michelle. Good morning. Supervisor Monica Steph, who has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to ensure that animals are protected in San Diego. And I never will vote for you again, Ms. Steph, because I only vote for politicians who protect animals and those who do not have a voice. I'm here today because the horse on our season will building up. Is complicit in the suffering, which is the reason why those horses continue to suffer on our season road. And I know Carol Ross from Reimers will continue looking down because she never addresses this issue. She's neglectful of everything we talk about. Concerns about their care have been raised for supervisors and Della Wellington. The public has repeatedly reported issues involving the welfare of these horses, and many of us are struggling to understand why meaningful action has not been taken to bring this message, and why that decision was made. Here, protection and accountability. I respectfully ask the county to but the horses, why they have not been removed. I suspect there's corruption going on at the county board of supervisors, and Deborah Barkley, I suspect, is probably paid off as well. This is a suspicion because nothing's ever been done. Please, please, please.
Thank you. Your time is up. And Vice Chairman Montgomery Steph, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communication for this morning. And again, all the remaining speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's session.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you to everyone who spoke and called. The next item of our agenda is the approval of the minutes statement of proceedings for the concurrent special district meetings of the Flood Control District of June 10, 2026, the San Diego County Fire Protection District of May 19, 2026, and the Sanitation District of June 10, 2026. This time I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote.
And it will be a roll call vote because it was the request of Austin Reamer remote. Supervisor Anderson.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Aguirre.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Montgomery Steph.
Yes.
And Chair Lawson Reamer.
Yes.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present voting aye.
Okay, thank you. We will now proceed with the formation of the consent agenda, that is items numbers 1 through 4, and flood control district items 1 and 2. All items on the consent agenda are routine and will be acted upon with one motion. Individuals will be able to comment on the consent agenda after the supervisor for the items they would like to pull for discussion. Would any of my colleagues like to pull any items for discussion? Go to Chair Lawson Reamer.
No items to pull and no comments at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Our Chairperson here.
No items to pull, but I have comments that I'll reserve until after public comment.
Okay. Supervisor Anderson.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Supervisor Desmond.
Nothing to pull, nothing to comment. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I will go ahead and second that.
those items only, and let us know what items you are commenting.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Chairman Steph. We do have 13 total requests to speak on items on the consent agenda for individuals in person and 9 requests to speak by phone. For any individual that requests to speak on the items on the consent agenda by phone, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions that was provided to you. We will go ahead and begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called forward, as your name is called, please come forward and down the arrows until it's your turn to speak at the podium. You will then have 2 minutes to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the record, and also when speaking, please identify which items on the consent agenda you are speaking about. I'd like to invite forward Eddie Colbert, Cesar Javier, Ronald Ostlin, and Allegedly Otter.
Cesar and Florida. We will not stop because this is the right thing to do. We are on our twilight years, and this consent agenda touches our lives, our community. You see, street lights for safety, very basic, traffic advisory, safety measures, food, very basic. When we hear the word border, it only reminds us of the painful fact that nobody seems to solve the cleanup or cure care of the victims of pollution. Mama Giri has declared January a repeated call. People there are dying and sick. What have we done since 1993 when Vivian Moreno presented this at Sandar? Sir Anderson was there, and perhaps Madam Monica was there. What have we done? Immigrants, a while ago. Now, what protection could we offer them in parallel with the non-action, ignoring and neglecting the cure of care, even feeding and sheltering of these victims, Mom here. Mom, Steve, you were the council member, District 4, City of San Diego. What have you done? What have you done?
Thank you. Next,
thank you, God help us.
Good morning. My name is Eddie Colbert. I live at 360 Railroad Drive, and I'm addressing item number 2 for a stop sign placement at Williamson Fairway. I've lived there for 14 years. It was a dangerous road. It has 2 blind limited, and fight, we just don't get it. They do the speed surveys, we just don't get straight. But we have, it's an unusual road, because we have a median in the middle that people and kids cross. And then we have constant speeders. Just recently, we had a 5-car accident at that said intersection of Lincoln Fairway. But they don't count it because it was DUI. Still, dangerous to the people, to the children, and to the animals. Speed is definitely a factor in that neighborhood. I myself have had a dog killed. I've had a car totaled, parked in front of my house. And my neighbors have had the same, except for the animals. And I strongly encourage you to please, never live in a stop sign, so we have some kind of safety in our neighborhood. Thank you.
I've got comments on items 3 and 4. Good morning, supervisors. I'm Dr. Ronald Aspen, Conservation Chair of the San Diego Sierra Club. San Diego Sierra Club supports staff's recommendations to apply for and accept grant funds from the California Department of Food and Agriculture for the Healthy Soils Program and the Flexible Feeds Pilot Grant Program administered by Sanday. Both of these actions are consistent with the county's Climate Action Plan adopted on September 11, 2024. The Healthy Soils Grant would make use of Proctor money to expand sustainable operations in land stewardship program and help it reach its goal to increase carbon sequestration on 3,000 acres of land by 2030 and 36,000 by 2045. Climate smart, regenerative agriculture combined with compost applications for cover cropping can improve soil health, increase water retention, improve biodiversity, and increase crop production. The county's Climate Action Plan aims to reduce vehicle miles traveled by expanding mobility options, improving connectivity, and supporting the development of community-based transportation services. Current funding for the First Mile, Last Mile Transportation Solutions Program is currently focused on engagement and planning. The Flexible Fleets Pilot Grant Program, funded by Sanday, could be used to move from planning to implementation and operation of microtransit service. On item number 4, the San Diego Sierra Club supports staff's findings that a review of the local emergency has been conducted and the local emergency will remain in effect. There is a need to continue the local emergency because San Diego County communities continue to face the environmental and economic impacts from Trans-Valley sewage flow.
As you guys are diligently, destroying civilization, which you're doing a great job, all the members across the board. It's a great Marxist ideology that you guys have going on. And I have some suggestions, because I feel like you guys could, get things going quicker. I just feel like rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, we know where this is headed, and I just feel like sometimes it takes a long time. But that's why you have your behavioral health unit, so that if at a certain point I get tired of it, you can just throw me in a mental health facility. So that might be fun to try the drugs that you guys have. There might be some new ones, who knows. But for the street lighting and the landscape with these levees, I feel like we should just really start increasing these so much, because then you can take these people's homes and, then you have all the services that you guys like to provide to them. And it'll just keep them in that cycle. You know what I mean? Don't make them feel like you want to keep them in that home and like you're really gonna take care of these things, because being honest is the best policy. So for the traffic advisory committee, I feel like that you could go and take a survey and see what speed would people, really just get out of their cars in if you lowered it to. If it's like 5 miles an hour, if you put a bunch of speed bumps just along the way all the time, or stop signs even. I think that would de-incentivize driving, because you're trying to change our behaviors. And the Healthy Soil Program, I think there's more money in the toxic soil that we have going on, and you're really doing a good job with the Roundup spraying and that. I think you guys could increase it. And I would also say have those workers not wear any kind of protective gear. That way you can put them into the healthcare system, and really keep them sick. And then the local emergency, good job. Good job.
We will now hear from those that request to speak by phone. When it is your turn to speak, you'll be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments, and we will go ahead and begin with our first caller.
Hey, wonderful people that can actually think for themselves. As we stated, our elections are both citizens and non-citizens. Non-citizens are not supposed to vote according to California Constitution and, the Constitution. Yet, our supervisors refuse to do the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Look to verify whether or not they have non-citizens on the voter file. Now, eventually they're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to determine that many of these elections should not have been certified at all.
Sir, we found your time.
No.
We're on the consent agenda. I stated what items they are, items 1 through 4, and for the flood control district, items 1 and 2. Please speak to those items or you will forfeit your time. Okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. as we discuss these items and the people making the decisions, I want to let everyone know there's a good chance that they didn't actually win their seat. There's a good chance that a lot of fraud got them in there where they're making these decisions. And the only way that they can continue making these decisions is if we don't look at the voter rolls and we move to non-citizens. That's why all the money is going to the non-citizens. It's because they recognize who is voting on it.
Please give first warning. Give first warning. Please speak to the items. Thank you.
I am just.
You might have muted yourself, I don't see you. You have about 28 seconds left. I'm going to try to go to our next speaker and I'll come back to you to finish your comments and see if our speaker system is working.
The TJ River Valley pollution crisis is not spreading countywide. This is more than a crisis, more than an emergency. But your response has been mostly to seek external money or resources, which can take months and years. We need local action, which would be where we need it now. It is affecting people's daily lives. Daily, people are getting sick or worse. You mentioned local efforts in the last paragraph. We need action now. The state needs to act. Several possible solutions. Down pollution monitors to find out exactly which building is coming from. Look them up. But I cannot support the continuation of what is now an industry based on promoting the emergency rather than state singing. Healthy Soils grant sounds fun. Pretty much what farmers do already. No specifics. But I suspect that the funds would support other things than farming. The Index grant is unrelated and should be a different agenda item. If the zero emissions microtransit has anything to do with Waymo, it needs to be rejected. In Atlanta, Waymo automatic taxis are shown on videos speeding up and down an Atlanta street, or children might be playing and also congregating at the end. Whole neighborhood, especially dangerous to kids and seniors, and again, the company just broadcasts the.
Thank you, your time is up. We will try to go back to our previous caller to give the 20 seconds left.
I have no idea what happened. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. If you do not, I'm waiting for you guys to show me one way that you guys go ahead and lead out on citizens. Until then, you shouldn't be there. You're not doing your job. You're not even protecting a right. You're giving all the resources to non-citizens. I think that is completely and utterly wrong. As I stated in a 20-minute conversation with Tara, the second I find out who you're taking orders from, apparently the non-citizen, will address it.
Your time is up. We will go to our next speaker.
Okay, so I'm still here. So, let's see, number 4, well, it's lucrative. Millions are being thrown at and granted by Newsom, using our tax dollars for cleanup only, but with no actual resolution to solve the problem. Let's see, number 5. Okay, healthy soil is mentioned. Funds for healthy soil. Well, that's more of our money being wasted, chemtrails, or call it airplane exhaust, call it condensation, call it stratospheric aerosol ejection. reductions, call it whatever the hell you want. But what is being emitted is aluminum oxide, barium, strontium, copper sulfate, and potassium iodide. So therefore, if that isn't stopped, there will never be healthy soil anywhere. So yeah, let's go to number 6. Believe it or not, I do appreciate the speed limit reduction, only because we have a new driver in our home. But in actuality, I do get that it's intended to further control the movement of the people and change driving behaviors while simultaneously penalizing them and profiting from speeding tickets. And, I also like to add that I do agree with the woman who spoke during non-agenda. There are so many ways we can pursue a healthier approach to our agriculture in our county. And if you're still listening, please look into the UN agenda for the 21st century. You may discover that many of our officials, if not all of them, are not truly working for us, the taxpayers, but instead are answering to globalists and their interests. So yeah, do yourself that favor, sister, and look up the UN Agenda 21. We are heading towards fishbowl living, and we are in total surveillance, and the cameras are pointed at the wrong people, unfortunately. Okay.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next caller.
Good morning, my name is Becky Rapp. I'd like to speak to 2, 3, and 6. I support efforts to make our roads safer through evidence-based traffic measures such as lowered speed limits, improved traffic controls, and additional stop signs. These are common sense strategies. However, I ask the board to consider a contradiction in county policy. Today we're discussing roadway safety and taking steps to slow traffic and prevent crashes, yet at the same time the county continues moving forward with policies that would expand access to intoxicating products, including marijuana businesses in the unincorporated areas. We cannot claim to be making our streets safer while simultaneously increasing the availability and normalization of products that impair judgment, reaction time, coordination, and driving ability. Drug-impaired driving is a growing concern throughout California, and marijuana is frequently identified as impaired drivers. Law enforcement agencies continue to report challenges detecting and preventing drug-impaired driving, especially as more intoxicating products become available. Before considering any expansion of marijuana businesses or other intoxicating products in the unincorporated areas, I urge the board to carefully evaluate the potential impacts on roadway safety, impaired driving, law enforcement resources, and public health. If safety is truly our priority, then our policies should be aligned. We should not be trying to reduce traffic injuries with one hand while increasing risk factors for impaired driving with the other. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Good morning, this is Peggy Blocker. Speaking to item 3, I support the Westmont program that promotes good practices in theory that reduce carbon and greenhouse emissions and mitigate climate change, all to protect the environment. So it does bring the question, nevertheless, why at the same time you promote this program, you ignore the significant, well-documented environmental harms posed by marijuana cultivation indoor and out, which is in direct contradiction to the goals of this item. Those harms include high water and energy consumption, pesticide and fertilizer runoff that contaminate soil and waterways, and damage local ecosystems and wildlife, and conflict with the intention of the Climate Action Plan. We don't want toxic soil. That's a good reason to support this, but we should demand the high standards promoted by this program for all cultivation and not allow special interest groups like the marijuana industry to bypass the standards that protect our environment and Climate Action Plan. So yes on item 3 and no on the marijuana cultivation. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Members who live and work in San Diego. I am speaking about item 3, which is healthy soils. and would like to encourage the county supervisors to definitely pursue that grant, and also consider that your climate action plan is consistent with organic and pesticide-free management. And I think that relates to something I was hoping to speak to on the non-agenda item, which is we'd also ask you to please not pursue a lease with West Coast tomato growers, because frankly, you have lots of information that's been submitted to you on that, but it is one of the most toxic and chemically intensive agricultural operations, and to have that occur on county land, leased or not, is very incongruent with your climate action plan and an application and grant money that may come through the Healthy Soils Program. So we thank you very much for the opportunity to speak, and I will also be.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Andrew here. I came in to speak about, or called in today to speak about 2, 3, and 4. I'd like to begin with 3 because I think we've done a real disservice to the people who want to adjust your items. Different items. In the one that most of us are speaking of, Department of Food and Agriculture regarding their Healthy Soils Program. Then there's an entirely different resolution to the Board of Supervisors regarding a program that is called the Flexible Fleet Pilot Grant Program, having to do with some planning regarding the microtransit zone in Spring Valley and Casa de Oro. So those are 2 distinctly different items, 2 distinctly resolutions, and should have been separated. And that seems like, other than the fact that they might contribute to good outcomes for our climate action plan, they don't really have a thing to do with each other. They're very different and have pros and cons. So that was really unfortunate use of your time, and certainly was a confusing use of my time. And would you look forward perhaps to not combining resolutions so different from each other? And my thoughts about item 3, however, is it feels like we're in real conflict. As a retired social worker, I still receive a great deal of information regarding education opportunities. And I received one just the other day, it was yesterday, that the program happened, the webinar, and it was called Health Problems from Emissions of Cannabis Cultivation. It's provided by 3 researchers in the field of marijuana cultivation and the off-gassing of the toxins involved in these.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next speaker. Hi, Jennifer. We can hear some background noise, but we can't hear you. Jennifer, you there? We'll turn some of the stuff I think this call is again on call, so we'll have to go forward at the time. And with that, there's Vice Chairman said that concludes public comment on the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you. I'll return to the chairperson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to take a moment just to speak to item 4 regarding the hydrogen sulfide hotspot at Saturn Boulevard in the Swan River Valley. And I want to thank the caller that suggested that we take action, because I want to point out that, as you may recall, the deterioration of the culvert at Saturn Boulevard has created a vertical drop that causes aerosols to be shot out into the air that include air. And my constituents have been reading this for a long time, and I want to show my gratitude to this board for approving the pipe extension designed to reduce aerosolization of this duration was shaved off 6 to 8 months off the timeline of what it would originally have taken. By this time next year, this fix is expected to be installed, and scientists have predicted that the pipe extension will lower severe hydrogen sulfide emissions. While this is a step toward improving pollution at the hotspot, long-term solutions such as building a box culvert bridge at Saturn and diverting the river on the U.S. side are still needed. Recently, both gubernatorial candidates pledged to follow the County of San Diego's lead, as we will be declaring a 24th state of emergency today, and call for the Sacrament price to be addressed. This significantly helps build upon our region's local efforts, and it removes barriers that significantly help expedite protocols to achieve long-term solutions. So both gubernatorial candidates have committed to declaring a state of emergency on May 1. So our next governor will declare a state of emergency. I want to thank this board and county staff for all your help bringing meaningful solutions to this Conroe Valley, especially these.
Okay, thank you so very much. If there is no further discussion, questions, comments, we do have a motion by Supervisor Desmond, and I have seconded that motion. Ryan, please call the roll.
Thank you. Chair Pro Tem McGeary.
Yes.
Supervisor Anderson.
Aye.
Chair Lawson Reamer.
Yes.
Vice Chair Montgomery Scott.
Yes.
And Supervisor Desmond.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present voting aye.
Okay, we will now proceed with our discussion items. We'll hear all items in order with the exception of item 5, as I mentioned earlier, which we will hear after our lunch break at an estimated time of 12:30. We're shooting the break for lunch at 11:30. So let's go into item number 6, notice public hearing, call a special election to levy special tax in permanent road division number 1000, zone number 9B, Harris Annex in Rancho Santa Fe, and related CEQA extension. Let's go to public comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair Montgomery Scott. We do have 8 full requests to speak, 2 individuals in person, 6 requesting to speak by phone. I'll collect the note of the record. We did receive 1 key comment on this item, which is neutral. For any individual that did request to speak on this item by phone, if you could please dial to the conference line now, use the instructions.
Of the 6 point street, when we say circulation, those are road nets, transnet, if that's the right word there. And it must be done because this is part of planning and development as far as urbanization is concerned. However, we participants have not only confusion but been doubting of this kind of effort to ensure transparency, accountability as far as this program. If I am not mistaken, this is 22% of the 0.86 million for district improvements. Elected officials, Ma'am Monica, Sir Anderson, Sir Desmond, and Ma'am Aguirre, we have to present real thing and spend the money accordingly. We depend on you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we expect the right thing to be done. Thank you.
Wanted to say good job not addressing the elections. That way we can, really make sure these taxes go through, right? Because if we acknowledged that there was any kind of cheating, that would be stupid, wouldn't it? Then everybody would kind of go like, I don't want them to question that. You know what I mean? So good for silencing Justin when he's, trying to bring that out to the people as a whistleblower. Again, you guys love your behavioral health stuff, and I'm sure you're anticipating that too with him. I mean, but with him being suicidal, I should probably not do that. But yeah, so I just feel like, with these elections, I mean, again, good job for not being transparent as far as that goes, that there is cheating, because you really want people to believe that their vote is going to count when they're voting for this. And I'm sure people, I mean, you should just ask people if they want to just give you stuff. Like, why even, call it a tax? I mean, you could just, come in and take their home. Wait, you already do that. And then you can sell it for $100. Isn't that cool? Imagine who gets those. I mean, that's why you have your friends line up for that. Because you really want them to get in there and make a big buck off those, really expensive homes. I mean, with the cost of homes these days, you can really bring in some revenue. And I feel like, is this in line with the Climate Action Plan? Does this, help people get around easier? Because I don't think that is beneficial to getting us out of our cars. So I think you really need to rethink that. And just maybe permanently close it. You know what I mean? And then you can put people into fire danger. That's also fun and lucrative.
Thank you. We will now hear from those that have requested to speak by phone. Again, when it's your turn to speak, you will be unmuted. You will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments, and we will go ahead and begin with our first caller.
How many times back? Okay.
Our caller is Gambler, we can hear you.
Please say you're not gaining blood.
Anything more? I didn't say anything more.
No, you're not gaining blood from my body. Okay,
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move these orders and move to our next caller.
All of those, I guess this is what happens in the deficit spending situation. The Harris Annex Hunters get to pay the county for fixing their own roads. I'm glad that people in Rancho Santa Fe probably have more money than most other people, but it looks like they actually do want to pay for it. At least they get to vote on the tax. You boast of a pavement condition index of 70 in the county. Good job. Congrats. Sounds good. But I just ventured into San Diego City downtown, and the roads are cracked. Potholes cracked. It's disgusting. I don't know who you want to attract there. I mean, maybe you want to attract tourists from other countries so they can go back and laugh about how the streets are so horribly kept up. I mean, maybe we could go back to medieval times, horses and carts. They don't destroy roads like that. I mean, I don't know what you guys really want to do, but no, we can't keep going on like this. I mean, we're a modern society here, I think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Hey, Consuelo here, and amen to Paulo Bold. I agree, and that's about all I have to say. And also, actually, I'd like to say to Paloma, you're welcome. You can say my name, girl, Consuelo, Consuelo, Consuelo. You're welcome. Yes, I was the caller you were referring to. It's okay. It's okay to be humble. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
morning. My name is Jennifer Royston. I have lived in San Diego County all my life. As I sit here broken in many pieces, I cannot comprehend why our county is not upset and going after the trafficking of our children. Why the FBI sits back silently as they kidnap our children and prosper off of selling them. Bomb, terrorist.
Ma'am, this is item number 6. So it sounds like you would like to speak on our agenda. If you can do that at the end of the meeting. We're just trying to keep the comments related to the item. This is a special election to levy special tax and permanent roads division in Rancho Santa Fe. So I would just ask you, please speak to that. Thank you so much.
We keep asking for more money to fix our streets, our roads, our this, our that. None of that money is being utilized in the way that it should be utilized. Instead, it's being given to pay off people, these corrupt officials, all these judges. Why are we not looking at our system and demanding, we want you to fix it. We want you to stop. You have filled your pockets enough that we should be able to move on from there. We want fair elections, and fair elections is not what we're getting. These Democrats have shut down San Diego County to the point that it looks like The Walking Dead at 9 p.m. at night. That is not my city. Our bars, our restaurants, our hospitals, everything seems to be controlled by one entity. And I say that that is the corrupt, liberal, Democratic Party that has shut our city down, and I want justice for what they're doing. I want my city back. I want freedom. And that is not what you guys have been doing. You have been doing.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next speaker. Speaker disconnected. So, not seeing any other speakers in the speaker queue. Vice Chairman Governor Steph, that concludes public comment on this item.
Okay, any of my colleagues wish to speak on this item? It is in District 3, Chair House Freeman. Did you have any additional comments?
Yes, sorry, I didn't show the person.
Okay, Supervisor.
So these permanent road divisions, which we have throughout the county, they're sometimes can be problematic in the fact that they're a good effort to try to help citizens take care of their roads. These are basically privately owned roads. For them to put into a fund that then the county, we are able to, because of our size and means, be able to go in and fix these roads at a cheaper cost that they might be able to, cheaper than what they might be getting out of the public. So we put these road divisions together. And I think there's a lot of good that can come out of these as long as the fees that are paid actually pay for the repairs that are needed. And unfortunately, in many cases, we get backwards or we get upside down in these things if people aren't paying the necessary amounts for the county to repair and keep their roads in good repair. And so I know this is not the case with this one particular today. That this is actually the road division folks coming and asking for this increase in the amount that they're going to be paying. But all too often, sometimes it falls upon the county as being the bad guy because the people haven't been paying enough to make these repairs. And then the roads get behind and things like that. So what I wanted to, I'm fine with going ahead with this special tax on the ballot. However, the people within this PRD, the Public Permanent Road Division, choose not to tax themselves to the amount that's necessary to keep up the road improvements. That if after this, the vote, if it doesn't pass, then I think we as a county then should not be left on the hook, and we should start the process of dissolving these public road divisions and give the money back to the people and say, okay, you can manage it if you like, but we've got to have the proper amount of money coming in so that we can make those repairs, and that's actually a benefit to the folks. But when they get behind or get upside down, we can't keep up with that. So I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the item 6 with the caveat that this does not pass. The county should be in the process of dissolving the PRD for this particular one.
Thank you. Is that, are we moving forward with staff recommendation, and the latter part is direction more so just generally speaking, or?
Well, it doesn't pass. If you go ahead with staff's recommendation, but if it does not pass, then we start dissolving that permanent road.
I'll now turn it over to Ms. Lynch.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Supervisor Desmond, I believe we certainly could do that. I believe we would need to take one additional step of returning to the board following the election to bring the results forward, and then the board would take action at that point. Can I please confirm with council?
Yes, that is correct. The board can give that direction today in addition to the staff recommendation, but it would be essentially direction to staff to return to this board item with the action for the board to dissolve.
So I think that fits into the motion to start the process. If the process includes coming back to us, that's but I think we start the process of dissolving if we can, because then we're left on the roads. The rest of the taxpayers should not pay for it. These are private roads. Thank you.
Thank you. All clear? Okay. All right. Supervisor Desmond has made a motion. I will go ahead and second that. And then if there's no further discussion, right?
And then just clarifying, is staff recommendations being adopted, or is it just not recommendations?
Move forward with it.
Are we just adopting staff recommendations, or are we adding, is the dissolve returning to the board in addition to staff recommendations? Yes. Okay.
Yes, my understanding, and Supervisor, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the motion would be move staff recommendation and add direction to staff to return
Well,
with.
to begin the process of dissolving the PRD.
If the amendment fails.
Whatever that is, yes.
Okay.
Well, my understanding is that it doesn't come back to the board.
If that's the process, that's fine. I don't know.
Discuss it and then make a decision on this. If it does not pass. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Supervisor, Chair Pro Tem here.
Yes.
Supervisor Anderson.
Aye.
Chair Lawson Reamer.
Yes.
Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp.
Yes.
And Supervisor Desmond.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors being present voting and voting aye.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to item number 7. This is notice of public hearing, call special election to levy special tax and permanent road division number 1000, zone number 13A, Calamasa zone in Fallbrook and related secret, in Fallbrook and related secret exemption. Let's go on to public comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair Montgomery Stepp. We have 21 total requests to speak, 15 individuals in person, 6 requested to speak by phone, and 1 group presentation. Also like to note for the record, we did receive 46 comments on this item. None were in favor, 27 were in opposition, and 13 were neutral. For any individual that requested to speak on this item by phone, please dial into the conference line now with instructions that were provided to you. We will go ahead and begin with the group presentation. You will have 10 minutes to address the board. All 3 members of the group must speak during that 10 minutes. Please self-regulate your time with the timer on the podium. And then I would like to invite forward the first group presentation that includes the following individuals: Stephen Shrewsbury, Martha Hutchins, and Craig Sherman.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Stephen Shrewsbury, a PRD 13A resident since 2017 and the founder and president of Citizens for Sustainable PRDs and Roads, established in February 2026. I support a special tax, but only if this vote is postponed until the underlying financial issues are resolved and stronger accountability measures are in place. Taxpayers deserve accurate financial data and transparent management of PRD funds. In 2021, I first learned we were part of a PRD. County only started collecting assessments in 2022. Now, County proposes a 1,200% increase in road tax to generate revenue to replace rusted culverts before any more collapse and repair our deteriorating roads. However, County neglect and lacking assessments from 1968 until 2022 got us into this mess. County now expects 2026 owners to pay to get us out. County acknowledged that revenues were insufficient, even in 2021, but did nothing about it. Supervisor Desmond, you promised to fix the roads people actually drive on. Where have you been while PRD 13A roads have deteriorated, culverts have collapsed, and we citizens have been forced to file a lawsuit? We have asked County to explain and remedy the situation, provide full transparency, and work with residents on constructive solutions beyond a binary choice, either a $1,786 tax or dissolution. So I urge the Board of Supervisors to reject putting a ballot for PRD 13A on the November election until after the county has settled existing litigation. Thank you.
Good morning, Board and honorable board members. My name is Craig Sherman, legal counsel for Citizens for Sustainable PRDs. If you think about the name Citizens for Sustainable PRDs, it was formed because there's a major problem with their PRDs. They've been mismanaged for decades. I don't know if you all know the history of PRDs, but they used to be county service areas, and they were taken out of LAFCO to go to these PRDs, so that you wouldn't have to go back to expand jurisdiction, fix the tax rules every time you're going back and forth to LAFCO. Well, since the counties had it, they haven't looked at the tax rules, they've expanded the districts, they've increased the amount of usage on the roads. Interestingly enough about the PRDs as well, when they were formed, is the public made a pronouncement. These private roads are now publicly designated roads. So the county makes the resolution to form these PRDs, and they designate these as public roads. So now you have individual private owners paying to sustain these publicly dedicated roads. So there's a constitutional problem with that. That's a taking. Well, it was set up as an assessment district. This is a constitutional issue where assessments are paid based upon for benefit users. Now you've got publicly owned lands in there, you've got public projects eating up these roads, you've got expanded districts of owners who haven't been put on the tax rolls and they're using them because the county hasn't fixed the PRDs. You don't have to go to LAFCO, but you don't do anything internally to deal with it. It's not ready for a special tax. Number 6 passed, well, it's going to go to election. Everybody wants more money for their roads, but you're taking it out of the assessment district, the fair accountability, and you're putting it in special taxes so there'll be no accountability. So don't be surprised if they don't pass, because your PRD system is a mess. So I've been asked to help sustainable, community group trying to help you fix the problems. And we've met with staff, we've got more than 10 people here. I know how, the forefront of converting these all to special taxes would be great for you guys, but it's not ready to do that. And this is the test piece for it. And that's why you have the resources of everybody here for staff on this. So it's not ready. We told you why. Submitted a comment letter that contains those reasons, the
PRD, all you have is this board policy that is just watered down, no accountability. The public says we have a problem with the road, they tell staff, and staff ignore it for 5, 7, 10 years. No wonder the roads are deteriorated. Where'd the money go? It went for staff. They were using it for operational budgets. So the accounting issues. But the lawsuit we filed was after trying to work through maybe 10 items, practical, pragmatic, so that the tax could be supported, so that these folks could go out to their members and say, we want to raise these funds, and the county can do a great job with it. It should be. That's the way it's set up. But it's not ready to do so. It failed. Not one pragmatic recommendation and request was heeded to after a period of like 70 days or more after we presented them. So we filed a case.
I'm going to pause your time. You have about 28 seconds left to finish your comments, and we need to go to your next person. Thank you.
Yeah. So I would recommend, and the request of the community is to put this off. It's not ready to go to vote. If you do, it's just creating additional layers of legal problems. And then the threat of dissolution and the way you're doing it, both Canal Harris, as Supervisor Desmond brought up, these are just creating additional layers of legal problems for both process and law. So heed to either the process on Prop 218, the special tax scales, and you need to go back to the assessment and do it right and measure who's using it and what they should pay. That's what our Constitution provides, and that's what we ask you of your diligence and your request today, to put this off, fix some of the problems, and put a special tax.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Martha Hutchins, and I live in PRD 13A. I'm asking you to postpone the special election tax vote. I want to focus on 2 issues: parcel allocation errors and voter irregularities. Our mapping was done decades ago, and it has problems. There are parcels that use the roads and are not included on the map and pay nothing. Other parcels are taxed, even though they never use our roads to access their properties. Still others, which have never previously been assessed, they are mapped in the PRD, suddenly appear on your new tax rolls. I can't imagine they're going to be very happy about that. Utility-owned parcels also use our roadways, but contribute nothing. It is not difficult to predict that many of these property owners will vote against the special tax. These issues need to be corrected before the election is held. There is also a serious voting concern. Under the proposed process, any registered voter residing in our PRD can vote. Renters who will pay none of this tax will vote. Absentee property owners who will bear the financial burden apparently have no vote. A property owner I know owns 5 parcels but lives elsewhere. He faces an increase in his property tax of thousands of dollars and will apparently have no vote. Simple summary. Renters, roommates, and voting age offspring can vote on this. Absentee property owners can't vote, and incorrectly mapped parcel holders will most definitely vote no. Supervisor Desmond, how can the county proceed with an election when these flaws could materially affect the result? Your stewardship is really needed now. I support a special tax, but only if this vote is postponed until pending litigation is resolved and these parcel and voting issues are corrected. It cannot be the sole responsibility of today's property owners to pay for the failures from yesterday. Supervisor Desmond, you mentioned that that can happen, that the PRDs don't have sufficient funds to cover the cost of their maintenance.
Thank you. That's your time.
Thank you.
We will now begin with the in-person speakers. As your name is called, if you could please come forward and stand in the arrows and tell us your turn to speak. You'll then have 1 minute to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the audio record. I will be calling individuals in groups of 3, so please listen for your name. I'd like to invite forward the first 3 individuals. Susie Bush, Edith Soleil Devell, my apologies, Steve Smith.
My name is Susie Bush, and I live in PRD 13A. 5.6 miles of road, 355 residents, and a major pipeline that provides water to millions of San Diegans. By no measure is this PRD 13A a typical road district. And for context, PRD 13A went 54 years without an updated assessment. The $150 cap referenced in past discussions was created decades before current residents lived here. Residents were blindsided by this crisis and then criticized for not knowing about a system they never created. Here are the facts. Residents did not create decades of underfunding. Residents did not create millions of dollars in deferred maintenance. Yet today we are being asked to absorb the consequences of those failures.
Thank you. That's your time. We'll hear from our next speaker.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Soleil Devell. I'm with the PRD in question here. I respectfully ask the board to delay any vote for the previous reasons on this proposed tax increase until there's been a full review and meaningful input on this project. Key concerns that I have, I understand that the county has budget issues. Well, people do too. Personal, private people have budget issues too. 1,300 or 1,200% increase is pretty unsustainable. I would, like to see maybe $500 a year, and then with a COLA increase, there's a lot that can be done with $270,000 to repair our roads, and maybe we wouldn't have to completely rebuild the roads. That's what this number, this $5 million number was based on.
Morning. My name is Steve Smith. I live on Sage Road in 13.
Closer to the line.
My name is Steve Smith. I live on Sage Road in PRD 13A. I'd like to encourage you first to consider our other requests where we lay this open until the county board of supervisors can present a plan that's a little bit more comprehensive rather than just dropping the hammer. I'm not afraid of the taxes. I'm happy to pay my fair share of what happens, but I also would like the rest of the county to pay their fair share, which would include all the damage to our roadways caused by the maintenance of the aqueduct service of the county. We need either the utilities to pay that bill, or we need the county to pay it because everyone in the county benefits from it. So please delay your vote. Put together a decent plan that we can get behind and that we can sell to our community and improve the taxes.
Thank you. We'll call the next 3 speakers forward. Tina Andrus, Maggie Rogan, and Rafa Das.
Tina Andrus. I obviously live in PRD 13A. Our roads are in a state of chaotic disarray as a result of the county's failure to collect assessments over the past 55 years. apparently the only PRD of the county's 67 to have suffered this negligence. The proposed assessment vote is coupled with the extortionary threat that if a 2/3 majority vote is not achieved, the PRD will be dissolved, leaving 355 disparate property owners completely on our own to administer maintenance of 5.7 miles of essential access roads. To believe that we are qualified and capable of this task is magical thinking. It is unachievable and preposterous. My household supports a special tax, but only if the vote is delayed until financial inaccuracies are corrected, stronger accountability is established, and the complaint by citizens for sustainable PRDs is addressed. Thank you.
My name is Maggie Rogan, and I'm here to urge you to postpone the special tax vote. I'm a licensed real estate broker and have lived and owned a real estate company in Fallbrook for the past since 2000. For over 20 years, I represented buyers and sellers in this PRD and never once had a seller or anyone disclose that they were responsible for maintaining the roads. I bought my own home in this PRD in 2013. There was no mention of the PRD from the seller, title report, chain of title, escrow documents, or any other disclosures. As DPW knows, it was not until 2021 that homeowners learned for the first time they were responsible for millions of dollars in road repairs. I remain concerned because there's still no formal disclosure mechanism for new homeowners. Buyers receive no notice, title reports, or any other standard disclosures.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Good morning, I'm Board of Supervisors. I'm Subrata Das and I'm a homeowner in PRD 13A. Of course, our roads require maintenance, but their current condition is not due solely to the residential use. These roads have also supported major public infrastructure work, including extended heavy equipment access by the San Diego County Water Authority. Because these roads serve regional utility projects, the county and benefiting agencies should share responsibility for their upkeep rather than shifting the full cost to the homeowners. Before asking residents to approve new taxes, a mechanism should be established by which the county and the utility agencies should fairly contribute financially for their maintenance. So I ultimately support the new tax, but it should be postponed at this time before all these things are taken care of.
Thank you. Call the next three speakers: Cesar Javier, Pete McBride, and Leslie Otter.
You're planning to tax us again and again, and we do not understand the technical plan here. Is the direction of the road suitable? Lessons from the city of San Diego. You know it. Mount Monica State. Let's learn from those lessons. Where is the plan? Show us whether it justifies taxing us. How thick is the road? What are the features that must be in the road? Particularly knowing that we need water. You know, roads are conveyance. They are pipelines into, hopefully, a dream place collection of water. Come on, let's plan. Justify it to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is John McBride. I represent 11 of the 13 homes located in Mason Grove. I'm also a part of the PRD 13A. I've lived in this area for 11 years. The home was started homes now are no longer part of the exemption. The 2 homes that are on the property on the same road are part of the exemption, including the 68 homes in town, condos that are just across the street. So I was a little confused about why the 11 homes are now part of the exemption, but the other 2 homes are not. I know there's a lot of discussions with everyone else with the PRD, a lot of people here from the same area that I'm at. Because I knew I had a little bit of time, I sent everyone an email with a list of different arbitration concerns, absence protocols, and benefits, and bills, taxation, and road maintenance. So please review that email when you get a chance. Thank you for your time.
And I called, you were on the list, but I called Pete McBride.
That's me.
Oh, and so we got Pete McBride and John McBride.
Misunderstanding.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you so much.
Talk about a racket. So interesting, you know, making private owners pay for public roads, especially ones that the utility company uses and destroys, right? I mean, those people should definitely not sue the utility company, you know. I mean, that would be stupid to have them pay for the roads that they're damaging. I mean, it's cool because you guys are like, there just hasn't been enough money in there. What have you been doing with the money that you've been collecting? It's just never enough. It's like, it's just not enough. I mean, as the costs increase, just every amount that we collect is just never going to be enough. But we'll pay our staff, it'll be cool, and then we're going to come and ask you guys for more money. You know, but I mean, screw the utility company. I mean, they should not be held responsible. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Only really the people that are culprits to that are responsible would be negligent. So hopefully these people don't sue the utility company to get them to fix the roads they're damaging.
Thank you, and then we'll call the final 2 in-person speakers. This is Mike and Tomstock and Richard Walker. Mike and Richard. Okay, I don't see any movement in the chamber. We'll go ahead and go to our phone callers. Again, when it is your turn to speak, you'll be unmuted, and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments, and we will go ahead and begin with our first caller. Our first caller is Melanie. Melanie, your phone might be muted because we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not here to address public comment for this item. I'm here to answer questions.
Gotcha. Thank you, Melanie. And then we'll go to our next speaker.
Excuse me, Paul Bowles. Again, I guess this is what happens in the deficit spending situation. The problem is on 13A, homeowners get to pay the county for fixing their own roads. And it looks like no one told owners till 2021. Typical. County has not fixed the roads or infrastructure here for years. And it is using old maps. So the people don't know that the money and the repairs will even be applied fairly. They've gotten screwed the county by providing old maps. So now the bill for fixing this is huge because it hasn't been done for so long. And here the residents aren't so well off in RSF. If the repairs include an aqueduct that serves in.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go ahead and go to our next caller.
It's crazy how much you guys raised my blood pressure. All because I just want the answer. I just want an answer. Answer to my question. Answer to the question I've been asking since basically 2021. You guys refuse to go and do it. Hell, you don't even think you can answer any question that they have. I'm glad that the horses finally got moved from the one location, but that had nothing to do with you. Why don't you guys do your job? The core responsibility on the elections is to make sure that non-eligible people aren't voting. Yet you do nothing, absolutely positively, to go ahead and prevent that from happening. By all means, go ahead and extend my section out for another 30 days because you don't have an answer. It's not that hard to go ahead and say, yes, we butted up against this fight. The truth is, you don't butt it up against any fight. You go with, they find under perjury of, that they're not going to go on the line.
Your time is up. We'll go to our next caller.
Well, again, the people speaking on this item, everything we've done within our county is to accommodate a globalist agenda. Your concerns is of no concern to them, I promise. They'll act as though they care, but it's only to look good for self-gain and moving up that political ladder. Right, Jim? I encourage. No, I urge you to do yourselves and your families and your hard-earned money a favor. Look into the United Nations agenda for the 21st century. No conspiracy theories about it. It's happening right under our noses. Everything happening, it is being purposely orchestrated. It is all by design. The system is working exactly how it was intended. And guess what? It needs your participation of believing in it for its survival. So luckily there are people waking up, and do yourselves that favor. So get hip on what's truly happening, because they don't work for you.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next speaker.
Hi, Jennifer Lucero. I'm just very concerned that nobody is using transparency in any of these legal matters we speak of. As we all know, I'm not educated enough, but I do know right from wrong. And I do know what character and integrity is. Things that I hold strong to my heart, and I just, I wish I could share them with you. Take value in those things, that the decisions that you make every single day shouldn't just be about what it is benefiting you and your buddies. It should be, you should be concerned about mankind, our world. Showing kindness is strength, it's not weakness. We live in a world where we are afraid to talk about God because morons laugh, only because they have never been.
Thank you. Your time is up. We will go to our next caller.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is John Adams, and I live at 2983 Mesa Grove Road in Walbrook, and I really appreciate the board allowing me to make public comment this morning remotely. First, I just want to recognize the hard work of the county staff to try to address the underfunding of the road repairs in the county and specifically for PRD. I also want to thank the Supervisor Desmond for his representation and advocacy for Walbrook and District 5. I'm speaking this morning to request that my parcel and others in my community be excluded from the PRD 13A road assessment district and removed from the special tax report. For the past 5 years, San Diego County officials have assured us in writing on multiple occasions that our community is excluded from PRD 13A. Since moving to my home in 2020, I have never paid the assessment and it's never been on my tax bill. Now the special tax report includes not just my home, but 13 of my neighbors on the street that live.
Thank you. Your time is up. And Vice Chairman Montgomery Stepp, that concludes public comment on this item.
Okay, thank you to all the public commenters and everyone who called in. I'll turn it over to the supervisor.
Thank you. This is a mess. This is here. And so we've been collecting about $150 per property on average. Is there an escalator in these PRDs? No. Well, that would be step one for fixing this later. But it is, and people mentioned, if I want to ask your attorney here, about the pending litigation. Is that holding anything up, or what they're delaying or causing us not to legal act?
The supervisor's answer to that is
this road, and well, no, first, let me back up. Are these private roads or public roads?
Supervisor, through the chair, these are privately owned roads.
Okay.
And in the last,
And have we been doing repairs on this road as we've gone along?
absolutely, Supervisor, we have just in the last 3 years expended over $500,000 in fixing the culverts in the field.
Okay.
Our supervisor just have to go over the rules. Okay. We do have these rules that audience members, please, no whistle, clap, stomp, if you do anything that disrupts the proceedings, feel free to put your thumbs down or thumbs up, or if you agree to this, but we just want to proceed and give everyone due respect. So happy to show your expression, but please just don't make fun of it. Thank you so much for your participation.
So you're saying we have been doing some, not all apparently, some repairs to the road with the monies that we have taken.
Yes, sir.
And then, can we raise the fees, or does that always have to go to a vote of the residents? Who can raise those fees?
In order to impose a special tax, state law requires a 2/3 vote of the registered voters within the special district.
So within the district, so we can't just amp up the taxes or the fees. We don't have that authority. However, we can see when a road's deteriorating and going beyond what we can really repair. So is it the resident's responsibility because it's private roads, or does the county take on that responsibility? How does that work?
Under state law, streets and highways code 1941, the county does not have a responsibility to maintain a road unless it's in the county maintained road system. In order for a road to get into that system, it has to be accepted either by the Director of Public Works or by your board. In order to have those findings made, the roads need to be to a certain standard. These roads don't meet that standard. So in a situation like this, where you have roads that are privately owned, but have some public use, the PRD process as set forth in the PRD law provides a mechanism for private property owners to request that the county provide services to maintain those roads. But the PRD law requires that they pay for those services, either through assessments or through special taxes, both of which require votes of the property or the registry.
And they have to initiate that. We don't have the authority to initiate the county does.
No, your board could. So what state law says is it can be initiated by petition, or it could be initiated by the board on its own initiative. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the process requires the property owners to approve some sort of assessment or special tax to pay for maintenance services by the county.
So in item number 6, we had was that petition that came through their HOA president or whatever. I'm not sure if they got people sign, or is that how that item 6 went?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you guys got a private road. You own it. It's your road. And I'll tell you something else. One thing that happened, I don't know, a couple of years ago in Fallbrook is the owners put a gate across the road so they didn't get cut through traffic. And we allow it. That's your road. You can do that. But I'm not saying to suggest you put that tax. Okay. Well, then you're stuck with this tax. So I don't think waiting is the right thing to do, because it sounds like everybody wants us to wait until the county gets you up to speed or gets the road up to the repair values that you want. We can't, I mean, we could send this out to a vote, and you can vote up or down. Do you want to pay what it's going to take to fix the road or not? And so I'm going to make the same motion as last time, essentially, that we go ahead with staff's recommendation to put this, put the increased tax on the ballot, and if it's returned, if it doesn't pass, that we start the dissolving of the PRD.
Okay, thank you. We do have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion or second to the motion?
Second.
Okay.
Did you guys listen to our comments?
We have a motion by Supervisor Desmond and a second by Supervisor Anderson. If there's no further discussion, Ryan, please call the roll.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Montgomery Scott. Chairperson McGarry. Supervisor Anderson. Chair Lawson Reamer. Chair Lawson Reamer. Vice Chairman Montgomery Scott.
Yes.
Supervisor Desmond.
Yes.
And that motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present voting aye.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take a break, we'll break for lunch, we'll be back at 12:30. We will start with item number 5. Thank you.
Talk about representing the people, that was good. That was so good. I mean, is that not a reflection of representation? I mean, good thing we vote. I can't imagine if we couldn't vote. It would be weird. It would be so weird. So, hey, you guys, we're going to be back. Wait, are we going to lunch, right? Yeah. Yes, we'll be back. So there'll be more representation, clearly.